Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, if you haven't already, we would love for you to find a comfortable seat next to your new best friend. Be sure you can see the amazing things that are going to happen on the screen when you choose your seat. And as always, we do know students come in after their classes finish, so we can expect some folks to wander in a little bit of, as we get started. For those who have not had the pleasure of meeting yet, my name is Mary Conway-Datoon, and I am the Academic and Executive Director of the Turner School of Entrepreneurship and Innovation. And my goal today is to not say much of anything. Now, if anyone knows me, that is a huge goal. That's a huge goal for me. And that is because you've come to hear the students, you've come to see the amazing faculty and staff who have been spotlighted. You've come to meet, thank you, Dr. Preacher. You've come to see our inaugural Turner School of Faculty Innovation Fellows, and most important, where are our student teams? All right, you've come to see them. And I do want to point out for the second year in a row, we're actually live streaming the event. So we do have people quite literally from around the world, alumni, other community members who couldn't make it, and representing our team for our first global entry from Brazil. So you'll hear some more about that, but I am quite sure there are many people from Brazil watching. So at the Turner School, just for a quick commercial, if I may, we facilitate learning adventures to conquer challenges with innovative thinking and ingenuity. Wow, what a lot of big words. What does that mean? What we do is try to help students and through faculty and staff to dream, design, and develop your ideas into something that has measurable impact. Right? So it's a beautiful job. It's an exciting thing to do. We are supported a great deal by our staff, so I just want to take one moment, of course, to point out our our managing director, Dr. Marcus Hashimoto, who will be up here on the stage for a moment. He's really the leader of all of this. And our newest staff member, for those of you who have not met her, Dr. Janine Beecher, is our associate director, really leading the initiatives around curriculum and advising of students. And I'm not going to take time to introduce them individually, but we have our Turner School Advisory Council here as well. So if you're an advisory council member, if you just wave your hand, and so we see those are the folks who are dedicating their time, energy, talent to our students to mentor them and bring them here. Speaking of time and talent, right, President James Shadid. He's going to open us up and give some opening remarks. Our 13th president of Bradley University. Welcome, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, since Mary opened with, you didn't want to hear long remarks, I'll keep mine short. It's a pleasure to open the 2026 Big Idea Competition. Bob and Carolyn Turner, the Turner School Advisory members, council members, and members of the community who serve as mentors for student teams throughout this competition. Thank you. Thank you for your commitment to our students and to this university. You made possible the vision of our founder, Lydia Moss Bradley, an entrepreneur with a strong social mission, and why we exist as an educational institution, not simply to confer degrees, but to recruit and develop people who will shape ideas into meaningful impact. The Big Idea Competition is one of the clearest examples of how engaged learning, creativity, and purpose intersect at Bradley University, open to students across disciplines and welcoming ideas at every stage of development. That belief sits at the heart of our One Bradley vision. One Bradley is not about uniformity, it's about alignment. It's about ensuring that engineering students, musicians, business majors, health science scholars, educators, and communications students all see themselves as part of the same institutional mission, moving forward together. And competitions like this turn that philosophy into action. And when that collaboration occurs, something powerful happens. Learning translates their expertise. They listen across disciplines. They build solutions that are more thoughtful, resilient, and relevant to the real world. That is academic excellence in its truest form. Excellence that prepares students for leadership in this nation of ours. And the impact extends well across this campus and off this campus. Universities today play a critical role in regional economic development, particularly when they serve as conveners of talent, ideas, and community partnerships. This show consistently shows that institutions that foster innovation and knowledge exchange, contribute directly to local economic growth, and Bradley and Peoria, Illinois are partners in that regard. Through initiatives connected to entrepreneurship, Bradley students and faculty help strengthen local industries, support new ventures, and address challenges faced by our region today and into the future. So with that in mind, again, this competition reinforces our promise to our students and is in alignment, Bob and Caroline, with your vision for the Turner School, that every major, every program, and every learner has access to transformational experiences right at Bradley University. So thank you to the faculty, the mentors, the judges, alumni, and community professionals who give their time and expertise to our competitors. Your guidance helps our students understand that ideas grow best when challenged, questioned, and supported by others. And students, thank you for your courage. Putting an idea into the world is not easy. Whether you advance your idea to a business venture or take your insight back to your classroom, you are already doing something important. You are practicing the habit of imagining what could be and striving to make it real. So congratulations. Your commitment and contributions are critical to the future of this university. We're proud of you, and we know you'll lead great lives beyond this campus. So welcome, and let's get started. Thank you.
All right, we will during the break also meet a few other folks, but I wanted to take just one moment to say thank you to our judges. As you can imagine, each judge has a very long biography, and we want to hear the students, so I'm really just going to read the names for you and say thank you to our judges. And I'm going to start with Stacy Brooks. Stacy is a local business owner, as you can see there, from CEO of SKB Cyber, and this is her first time judging with us. So please welcome Stacy. I know it is not going to be the last time we see her there. As a matter of fact, she's very, very much involved with the Turner Center and does a lot of instruction there around all things that I don't understand of AI and cybersecurity and things like that. Rob, Drew, so when I met Rob at a Bradley basketball game, we just happened to be sitting next to each other, and I said, come out and see what the students do, it's so cool. And he turned to me the first time, and Rob said, oh my gosh, I had no idea what was going on here. So that's so important that the students understand that your motivation and what's happening really leads to a continuing relationship, So Rob, this is your second time judging, but your third or fourth time at the competition, so thank you very much for joining us. Kathy Holtz, actually a very long list of contributions to the community and to her business. You see there she's board chair of 2DK Traffic and also the president and CEO of RCMS. She's also one of our board of trustees members. So she gives back to Bradley in many, many ways and serves as an example for us all. So thank you, Kathy, for judging for us again. Mr. Norman Understein's been here, actually longer than I've been here in terms of participating and supporting everything that Turner does. So Norman, again, a very long illustrious career of entrepreneurship and mentoring the next generation of entrepreneurs. So thank you very much, Norman. With that, I'd like to ask Dr. Hashimoto to come up, and he's going to explain to you a little bit about how we're going to run the competition today. Sir?
Thank you. Hello, everybody. I'm Marcus Hashimoto, Managing Director of the Turner School of Entrepreneurship and Innovation. Thank you very much for all being here today. And please give your hands to the finalist teams: Illumists, Backwater Customs, ClearScan, Salsations, and Urban Analytics that are remotely. Okay? So very quickly, what the rules are here. So each team will have 10 minutes to present their ideas, followed by 5 minutes Q&A. So we're going to make it shorter this time from the judges. And after, we will assign you 1 or 2 minutes sign so you can control your time. And after all the teams have presented, me and the judges will go to a conference room to deliberate. So we have all the scores, and we also will discuss the performance of the teams. The final result is supposed to be a consensus of the feasibility plan that they already have read, the pitch that they will deliver here, and their performance in answering the questions from the judges. There's going to be a consensus, and after that, we hope that takes 15 to 20 minutes. We are back to announce the winners. Okay, so that's how our 2 hours here are going to run. Well, so are you ready, Illumists? Please come over.
Hello, everyone. My name is Steven Sanchez, and I'm a question developer for Illumists. Presented with me is our CEO and system architect, Joseph Russ. Now, for about 2 years, I was a supplementary instructor for calculus students. And during those 2 years, I've had to reteach algebra to most of those students. I remember this one time, I spent an entire session trying to reteach how to add and subtract fractions to calculus students. Now my question is, why hadn't they retained any of these math skills when they first learned them in high school, middle school, elementary school? Now what I can say is they would have started learning algebra around the start of the global pandemic. And ever since then, math scores have been at historic lows. Last year alone, we've seen the worst 12th grade math scores ever recorded, and this has transcended into middle school. Since the start of the pandemic, the average 8th grade math score has dropped 8 points, and this is transferred locally. In 2022, only 1 out of 100 students were proficient in the SAT. Now, I would like to draw your attention to the graph. That black line represents the average 8th grade math score from 2000 to 2025, according to the nation's report card. That pink line is the amount schools have spent on educational technology. And you notice, around the start of the pandemic, spending has gone up and scores have been going down. However, during that time, I want to draw your attention to the green line. That represents the average amount of time a kid spends daily playing online games. And the truth of it is, modern edtech cannot keep your child's attention as well as online games. More importantly, modern edtech doesn't motivate students to practice math, but online games motivate students to continuously play for hours on end.
Illumists is different. We took the core gameplay loop that keeps people playing hundreds of hours of chess.com and Fortnite, and we applied it to math practice. Our players compete in real-time 1v1 matches. With each correct answer, collectible monsters attack each other with visual feedback. As a player wins, they collect more monsters and rank up and fight in matches with the harder material that those monsters unlock. This is the same psychology that competitive games use to keep players hooked, and we already know this loop is engaging. Our playtesters so far have been thrilled. Across 4 demo sessions to date, our users have consistently elected to play multiple rounds, completely unprompted. And we also know that this kind of solution has been validated in the market. There's a Chinese learning platform, Xiaoyuan Swan. And when it released its own head-to-head mode in 2024, that mode garnered over 50 million users. It went viral on social media and propelled that app to the top of the Chinese app store. Now, because of regulations, they'll never be able to see the US market, but we were inspired by their gameplay loop and we built it here. The following, as if I can address your attention to the screen, is a recording of our gameplay to illustrate our current feature set. The player opens up to a home screen where the monsters they've collected wander around and habitat. They can click on the monsters to see what kind of question material they correspond to. The bar at the bottom of the screen is a roster, and they can drag monsters into it to choose which question material they bring to a map. They can also level up their monsters, feeding them, and this increases the difficulty of the question that corresponds with them. They can finally train their monsters. Here, they can visit external learning material to understand more in depth what they're about to go and practice. We also have a shop screen. Here, players can spend their hard-earned in-game currency on food to level up their monsters and tickets to spin for more monsters, which randomly selects new creatures within their ability range. This is a common mechanic leveraged by online games, and it creates engagement. We hope it encourages players to learn the new material that they play. Now, we also have a social screen. Here, players can browse a global leaderboard to see how they stack up against their friends. We also have a tournament entry area where a player can take the codes that the teacher gives them and compete in classroom tournaments. They can finally invite their friends and compete against them in friendly matches, which is what you're about to see. This is a real online match, and not only do we have working real-time multiplayer, we also have skill-based matchmaking and a built-in progression system. Both players receive the same question at the same time, and they compete. They race to answer faster, more accurately than their opponent. When they get a question correct, their monster does an attack animation. We're currently looking to expand the amount of questions we provide, and with additional funding, we can provide more UI and attack animations to really make this the same level as the gaming industry's current hooks of visual feedback and oversaturation color. As we race to the end of the screen, you'll see a review screen. This shows each player which of the questions they've got wrong over the course of the match and the steps to solve them, which is useful if you're trying to review that. Not only do we differentiate ourselves from our competition in our value proposition of providing the same hooks as online gaming, but we also built our game on a game engine instead of the web frameworks which our opponents are built on. And because of this, we can leverage more robust features out of the box, and that has allowed us to basically to compete against online gaming for attention and a level that EdTech is seeing. Our monetization strategy is twofold. First, we intend to create our initial user base by providing a plan to institutions. Priced at $3 per student per academic year, we provide value in classroom tournament events where a teacher can select different material and the kids within their class will compete against each other on that provided material. And we take the data from that map. We feed it into an analytics dashboard, which provides insights to the teachers on which kinds of question material their students are struggling with or succeeding in. Now, the institutional plan serves to get the app into kids' hands. It's freely available in the App Store, and this distribution funnel allows them to take it home. When a parent sees their kid voluntarily practicing math at home, they'll happily pay for our $5 a month premium revenue subscription. This provides their primary source of revenue. They'll have the added value when their kid says, I want to study X, whatever additional subject material. Maybe it's the unit circle. It allows the teacher to curate the material that their child practices, and we provide them the same analytics dashboard that we provide to educators, but curated to show their child's progress. This is that dashboard in its present state. You can see it shows the accuracy rates across different kinds of question material. We're almost to the point where we're about complete with our minimum viable product. We expect a public release in mid-May of this year. To get to this point, we've only required a minor personal bootstrap, which has covered minor licensing and hardware fees. Now, our playtesters so far have loved the game, but real results take time. And that's why in this upcoming season, we plan to partner with a local school here in Peoria to provide the learning outcome data we need to actually market during the upcoming EdTech purchasing season in January. This data will also allow us to pitch to an angel investor. With this learning outcome data, we are hoping to offer up somewhat between 10 and 15% equity in the company in exchange for a $25,000 budget, which will allow us to then go and market the game, paying for social media marketing we need to expand our user base. The wonderful thing about software is our development costs are paid upfront in time. Our infrastructure and hosting costs are relatively low. The estimate is total cost of goods and services per user per month at less than 10% of the new monthly revenue per user. During the first year, we plan to go into a slight deficit. During the second year, we plan to break even. This is because during that time, we'll be spending our revenue on expanding the user base with marketing. The third year and onwards, we'll actually see return on investment. Finally, we'd like to thank our mentors. Roderick Craig is a serial entrepreneur and the founder of Harmony AI. David Brennan is a professor from computer science here at Bradley. He has provided us with insights on app development and marketing. Amy Jo Lambert is the assistant director of the Small Business Development Center here at Bradley. She has provided us with insights on finance, IP protection, and business planning. We hope that you can help us make math the game that this is. On behalf of the UOB's team, thank you. We hope you can find our game on the Google Play Store sometime very soon.
Nice job, guys. Can you talk a little bit about marketing plan? I understand the launching point is the education channel. New user funnel is obviously an important part of any app. You talk about how to drive traffic.
Yeah, sure. So this is a common strategy in the tech world. It's how the largest map game in the tech market exists right now. Prodigy. They monetize primarily through providing the app to students through educators and monetizing through a premium subscription plan for parents. This is a common strategy, and it will allow us to accelerate our initial user base. Do you have further questions about the plan? No?
Each year, I'm just amazed at the quality of the people who present. It just blows my mind. I do have a question. In your business plan, you make the statement that you're leveraging mechanics and competitive advantage rather than the hit of game. So can you maybe just do that?
Sure. So our primary hook is our Elo system where we rate players and basically match them based on their difficulty. When they win a match, they're going to about to play the next match against a player slightly better than the previous one. And this kind of competition grading just doesn't exist in the current EdTech market, but it's a common hook. Like back when I was in the 8th grade in high school, I played like 500 hours of a game with the Elo system like that, simply because I wanted to be better. I wanted to play, I wanted to develop my own skill set. And that's a mindset we hope to cultivate and leverage to teach people math instead of just the online gaming world where it currently exists.
And that is social, so it only helps.
Yeah, a lot of our user sessions so far have been two friends basically playing against each other. And that provides motivation. People are like, I want to play, I want to beat my best friend. And that's something we hope to leverage. It doesn't exist yet in this space.
Well done, gentlemen, well done. And there's a grandma, two little boys who are going to be on that net, pretty soon. I'm hoping that this helps increase those statistics, which were shocking to me, that the visibility thing, they shocked me today as well, as far as I've seen before. I'm interested in a little bit more in your operations strategy, brick and mortar operations. My background is on the numbers side, I'm an accountant. But I'm mostly, the reason I'm asking those questions is, one, understand that they've been incorporated with operational structure of the business, like what we do with financial planning?
Yeah, so I guess going forward, we will remain the primary developers and some of the people who've onboarded in the past team if they're interested. Most of the actual systems development for the game is already complete. So we kind of are on the level of the clunky at UI and art. So going forward, we hope to spend at least a decent part of our initial funding on like UI assets, and that's something where it's all contract work for the most part, like over Fiverr or whatever. Most of our overhead is really well operating on.
Thank you, because that's what I got from reading your feasibility study. It's as though you can run pretty much virtually.
That's the wonderful thing. We leverage, there's a tool called Hayden-Clark, and they allow us customers they can spin up servers anywhere. And this is basically a modern tech stack edition. It's only in the last few years. So we've finally been able to leverage something our competition is well behind that, and that's like having a server host that spins up having it instead of maintaining whatever AWS is.
Thank you very much.
I want to thank you guys. You did a nice job presenting. And my question is, how do you plan to, if a student has a $3 subscription at school for the year, how do you plan to separate that from a home subscription?
Yeah, so the academic plan provides a lot more, it's aggregating classroom data, whereas the home plan not only allows the parent to select additional questions, but it's providing more personalized data for their child where they'll be able to see the progress like, week to week. And so there's a little bit, the ML that's going to cover that is going to be a little bit different. It's not quite the same dashboard, but it'll be available with the same dashboard site. The value is regardless provided any insights that we can give to educators or parents.
But if you have an account at school, right, you have an account, what's to keep you from playing that same account in the evening at home?
It is the same account. The parent and the teacher can be separately monetized there.
We've seen this through parents are willing to spend extra on services like Code Ninja, Kumon. This isn't necessarily new. This has been used before.
Yeah, this is the common monetization strategy in tech world. It's what Prodigy uses as well as other forms, 99 Labs, and the common tech solution here. Thus far, it's successful. Usually, our financial estimations were relatively conservative. We estimated like a 3% conversion rate. Prodigy and like that's a lot higher.
Welcome to Peoria, where you can see safer data, better research. As you can see on the picture on the left, hospitals sit on a treasure trove of medical images, and these medical images contain PHI, or protected health information. This protected health information is covered under HIPAA, and it includes anything like your name, your birth date, your social security number, everything that they ask you to know. Wow, this data needs to move from the hospital to the researcher in order for life-saving discoveries. However, there's a current gap. The picture on the right looks clean. Unfortunately, there was a name in the file name. Most current de-identification tools do not scan file name. This can ruin trust and cost millions of dollars in penalties. There's a current gap that ClearScan addresses. Hi, my name is Madison Presume. I'm the CEO and lead of DevOps. As you can see, two people are missing here today. Our CTO, Tyler Nielsen, and our CFO, Ethan Staple. Unfortunately, they both had medical emergencies, but they are wishing us support from where they are.
Hi, I'm Lee Gordon, the CEO and software engineer. I'm Connor Sharp, I am the CMO and data engineer. Every year, PHI is leaked in some way, whether it accidentally leaks metadata, they forgot that something, or they just completely this can cause fines for the healthcare institutions that were responsible for the leak. And with each recurring fine, it can accumulate into over $20 million and break the trust of several of their dear patients. ClearScan is a four-step process to help prevent this. First, we use OCR, optical character recognition, where it scans each pixel of the image for detecting anything it could possibly find that would be deemed PHI. Then it goes into the file contents itself, the metadata. There's anything from it there as well. Well, it's not as easy to find for the standard person. Those who are willing to go digging will be able to find it, which is where we come in and take it out. Next, we check the file name. Sometimes PHI is in there like patient's name, sometimes it's not in there. Regardless, you can take it out if it is there so that there's no possible issues involved. Lastly, we have adaptive learning, which is where the user of ClearScan can put in their own limits or their own access to things they want to keep in. That way, they can have their own blacklist or whitelist to keep what they want in or out. Now, for a quick demonstration. A quick disclaimer is no real PHI has been used. Everything used in this demo is purely synthetic. Over here, you can see we have uploaded images from the user who is wanting to have all these scanned. Now, we're going to check over at Johns Hopkins. Hospital flat Johns Hopkins was a hospital name. Unfortunately, it's actually a patient's name. We do not want that. So what we're going to do is we're going to start scanning it. And here we can see the process starting. And just like that, both date and name has now been redacted. If we scroll down a bit further, we can see all the details of what was done to the image for its redaction. But what if there's something else you want to get rid of? This is where the PHA or the whitelist or blacklist can come in, where you can personally add in things such as Johns Hopkins. After we realize it's a patient's name and not a hospital, we simply put in the name in here for the blacklist and remove it entirely. As you were able to see from the demonstration, one of the ClearScan is to help save the user time. A lot of researchers spend this time manually scanning the files, which could take up to 5 to 10 minutes per file, which could be used actually researching. Our application would take less than a second. These are the current methods that users use to scan. DICOM Cleaner and Amazon Web Services only scan metadata. Google Healthcare API trusts no labs scan the metadata and Pixel OCR. But notably, all of these competitors don't have our four-step process. These are a few testimonials. Dr. Marilyn Presume talks about how it is important to scan PHI and scrub it because any costs researchers a lot of money. Connor Davey, a partner at OSF, talks about how these current methods still aren't enough to reliably scan PHI. it still takes them a lot of time to make sure that there's something. And David Brennan attended last year here at Brown University, talks about how he was a victim of a data breach. He has confidence that this can impact further reduce. This is the market for de-identifying visionary. As you can see, this is a $1 billion market with a B. Last year, it reached nearly $9 billion, and that's expected to nearly double by 2033.
Let's talk about our competitors' pricing. While it does say free on Diacom Cleaner, all it checks is metadata, missing pixel OCR, filing, all these crucial aspects that OSF brought to us to create this tool. As you can see, most of our competitors vary the prices based on gigabytes and units. One key thing to note is that one unit is a small fraction of a gigabyte, so please keep that in mind for our pricing. Our pricing is now based off gigabytes as well. We have a free tier where users can upload up to 200 megabytes of an image, and that can be redacted each month. Our tier 1 is solo edition, so if you're just an independent researcher and you'd like to redact that, we're available for you with a small setup fee. Secondly, we go to mid-sized hospitals, and third, we go to large hospitals such as OSF. This data is based on OSF's feedback that they redact hundreds of gigabytes each month. We are tracking based on that. We do have a soft cap and a hard cap. This hard cap is when you need to upgrade to our next tier, and the soft cap will just send you a reminder, hey, you're a little close to your monthly deadline, you'll either need to slow down on redactions or move forward. We are asking for $300,000 for advertising, infrastructure, and promotion, for 20% equity in our business. As you can see, in 2026, that investment will do pretty much nothing. However, in 3 years, you will hopefully get your money to the estimated value of your company's fee, $1 million and $1.4 million. Our valuation method is based on a multiple. Based on industry standards, software as a service multiple goes from 5 to 10, and you multiply that by your net profit. We chose 6 to be conservative, but still scale. Here's our current timeline. In August of 2025, problem was brought to us, our team formed, and work began. In November of 2025, we showed OSF our updates, our code, and that's when they brought to us adaptive learning and Johns Hopkins education. Now, in April, we're at the Big Idea Finals, and our development is complete. Next month, we will be launching at OSF Job Simulation Training Center. We are so incredibly excited about. In September of 2026, we are hoping to receive our first non-OSF customer. Before we end, we do have to especially acknowledge our 5 mentors who helped us immensely. First of all, Dr. Matthew Graham, a pediatric cardiologist at OSF, who brought us the problem and even gave us production files in OSF format. Miss Amy Jo Lambert, who helped us immensely with the financial details. We are computer science majors, and we needed that business, and it was greatly appreciated. Third, Dr. Samuel Hawkins, our professor, who helped us immensely on the technical side, and we have 2 innovation engineers from OSF, Connor and Reed. When you need safer data and better research, reach out to ClearScan. For investment opportunities and support, please feel free to reach out to our email and to our Instagram. Thank you so much for your time.
First of all, your business plan is very good, easy to understand. And I think reading it all, I said to myself, AI is getting better and better. Why wouldn't AI replace this function?
Great point that I'd love to hear. In our preliminary research, we found that nurses are actually leaking PHI into large language models. If there's a piece of information that's going to a large language model database, so using AI or large language model, we're going to leak that PHI to the database. If we have our own server, our own data infrastructure, we're going to go get it.
Excellent, excellent presentation, excellent feasibility study. This is very, very exciting and frankly about time. So congratulations for that. If you would, can you share with us how you will create the pipeline of organizations, of hospitals, for example? And then how will you determine, for example, you said, I think that your plan is to bring another organization on in September, which, you know, I'm looking at an eye that's here. So how are you planning to create a pipeline, decide who you're going to go after next, et cetera? That's very important as part of not just the marketing strategy, but your overall operations strategy.
While we're launching my apologies. While we're launching at Jump Simulation Training Center, that is a hub for medical researchers and medical professionals to come and see the product. When they come to Jump and they see ClearScan, and they see that you don't have to manually redact information, they will choose ClearScan. We're also hoping to go to some medical research expositions, and we can promote our products there as well. No problem. Thank you.
I have a toss-up between asking about advertising, but I'm going to go with this question instead. Reading your proposal, I thought about this, and then this just came up. You said, hopefully you don't get hacked. What do you have within your system to make sure that you are protected, especially with all of that HIPAA information?
Of course. Currently, we are running locally. We do not have a server, so right now it'll just be our Windows security system. However, with that investment there, we are hoping to receive. We are hoping to get legal and security advising, maybe from SKP Cyber, but just to help out and get that consulting and make sure that our patient information is safe.
Really nice job, and such an interesting proposition. Love the fact that you are doing the work of the work with end users. Really commend you guys for that, doing that market sensing work so important. What concerns you most about the competitive set and they're closing any gaps that you guys are suffering?
Personally, I would say that looking at Amazon or Google, that is a big brand name that you would most likely trust rather than a startup. However, when you see that we have industry standard people in our corner like Connor Davey and Dr. Matthew Braylon, I believe that you will see that there is an improvement from the people that have worked with industry standard tools in ClearScan. They can give those testimonials as well and set that apart. Additionally, adaptive learning was a major improvement due to the Johns Hopkins or EDGE cases, whereas if something doesn't go through on an industry standard, we have that adaptive learning to customize the system to you. Thank you.
I'll ask my other one. In your plan, you talked about your advertising strategy basically being an affiliation to OSF. Do you have any backup means other than OSF promoting?
Our backup was what we talked about a little bit earlier, was the medical research expositions. My grandmother, Dr. Marilyn Presume, this is a passion project for me. I love software. I'm trying to help the field that she's in. She's been to multiple medical research expos, and they have software companies there that are promoting their product. So we can set up a table just like the Innovation Expo and promote our product that way as well.
Hello?
Hello everyone, my name is Matt Wagner. Growing up, I always enjoyed fishing. My dad would take my two sisters and I out, and we'd always compete for who could catch the most fish. As I got older, I started to enjoy fishing a lot more, and I learned more about it. I went fishing almost every day, even getting my dad to come back out. We would go fish around ponds, fishing around the banks, and even sometimes renting out boats to go fishing out on the lake. But as we rented out more boats, we realized it would start to get expensive, so I suggested we should just get our own boat. We scanned the market looking for options that would fit all of our needs, but realized that most of the options costed tens of thousands of dollars, which was too unaffordable for us as we were just getting into it. So we settled for the alternative and bought a used boat pole on Facebook Marketplace that costed $1,500 with the motors included. This boat was really great, but we realized that it was lacking in the comfort, functionality, and style that one of those higher-end boats would have. But we wanted these things, so we decided to customize the boat by ourselves. We added a front and rear deck, storage compartments, lighting, and all the features that we thought we might need when we were out on the water. And through this process, we realized that it was a much more affordable option to do it this way, but it still came with its problems. The amount of time it took to get the parts to actually fit our boats, the amount of trips to the hardware store to get the parts, and the amount of tools needed to assemble the parts made this process extremely difficult for those who don't have the money, resources, or time to put it together like we do. My name is Matt Wagner, and I'm the CEO and founder of Backwater Customs, and with me today is my dad, Scott Wagner, who is a Bradley alum, as well as the co-founder, Vincent Pinto, who is our CFO, and Colin Stolten, who is our COO. Our mentors are Christopher Marsh, Brian Getz, and Danielle Scarzella, who all gave us very valuable information as to how to scale the business and make it profitable. With this being said, it is my pleasure to introduce you all to Backwater Customs, providing convenient, affordable, high-quality customizations to recreational fishing boats. Our big idea, less time, less cost, less headache. We want to use something like the IKEA model, where we're taking parts that customers want, packaging them together, shipping it off to you, ready to install in an easy, convenient, and affordable way. To talk a little bit about our market, as well as our opportunity, here's Colin.
Thanks, Matt. Last year alone, roughly 560,000 units were sold, and units are mean aluminum boat hulls that are open design. 75% of which were pre-owned boat sales, bringing that number down to roughly 420,000 aluminum open hull boats sold in the market last year. With the recent surge in pre-owned boat sales after the post-COVID years, we recognize this is the perfect time to introduce ourselves into this market. With one simple Facebook search, we were able to find multiple different forums with hundreds of thousands of members asking the same questions we were, but struggling to find answers. That's where we stepped in. We were able to deliver those answers in a sense of direction. Off to Vinny here to talk about how we're going to deploy this.
Thanks, Colin. So we allow individuals to take a boat, use boat ball, or something like this, and something stored and water ready like this. We allow this to work with ease through our website configurator. You can go onto our website and type the exact make and model, go do that. Then you select between our 4 options, depending on how customized and what exactly we want on your boat ball. Then you can see here on this next image, you can pick and choose exactly what you want and what you don't want on your kit, as well as a multitude of color ones. And then it populates an image of what this kit might look like once you place an order and get that kit for your boat. We have 3 pricing options, starting at the lowest price option at $2,500, all the way to our most expensive option, $7,500, with an average margin of 65%. Now I'm going to pass back to Colin to talk about it.
So as you can see, our closest competitors are Tiny Boat Nation, Facebook Marketplace, or other online marketplaces, and buying units from the dealers. With our closest competitor being Tiny Boat Nation, we realize that they offer an affordable price and a somewhat DIY feel. But where they fail to include what we include is a variety of whole options along with a magnitude of different customization of their options. And now I'm going to talk to Saturday to explain how we're going to introduce ourselves to this.
Yeah, so here's how we plan to get our brand out into the environment and allow people to understand what we do and how we help. We plan on targeting YouTube channels and sending them our kits so they can review it in front of their audience for our specific needs. We're going to start with smaller YouTube channels from 10 to 100K subscribers, and then we're going to target bigger YouTube channels with 500K subscribers all the way up to 1 million. We also plan on sponsoring local fishing tournaments in the Chicagoland and Peoria area as well. And now I'd like to pass it over to Matt to talk about our milestones what we've achieved so far.
So in early August of last year, we bought our used boat hull from Facebook Marketplace, and in December of last year, we started our customizations for the boat. In January, we completed the customizations and have our first working prototype. In February, we gave our idea to the Big Idea competition, and in March, had the privilege of participating in the Innovation Expo. And after the expo and realizing we made it to the finals, we did a lot of more research, a lot of more work, and created a website. And now we're here pitching to you guys. So to show how we're going to capitalize on the progress we made so far, what to expect in the future, and hand it back off to you.
Here's what I plan on turning this big idea into reality. We split this up into 3 phases. Phase 1 is your 1 and 2, with a big focus on organic growth and growing our name. We're going to be posting one long-form YouTube video on YouTube once every 2 weeks, depicting a day in our lives, what we're doing, specifically with the business, the good, the bad, and content of us using our boats on the water. We're going to then clip content from those YouTube videos and post 3 videos a week on Instagram and TikTok from that content to grow our brand image and content. By the end of phase 1, we plan on accumulating 10,000 organic subscribers to get an understanding of our brand and know what we're doing. We also plan on purchasing a 5,000 square foot warehouse, as well as starting to build up a library of boats that we can support and build kits for. By the end of phase 1, we plan on having 5 of the most popular boat hulls in the market that we support through our kits. Phase 2 is yours 3 and 4. By that time, we project that we'll have our organic growth and our organic market through our YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram to be at about 100,000 subscribers. We then plan on expanding our operations, hiring workers, and adding additional features where individuals can bring in their boat, and we can put the kit out for them and mass customize it, and mass customize their boat, taking the weight off their shoulders and making it even more convenient. We also plan on expanding our library of boat hulls that we support to 15. Phase 3 is your 5 and beyond. We plan on growing our organic content to about 500,000 subscribers across YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram. And we plan on growing our brand and becoming a nationwide brand, scaling internationally. We also plan on having 25 of the most common boat hulls within our library that we can build kits for. Now I'd like to pass it back to Matt to talk about the financials.
So in year 1, we expect to be operating at a loss of about $30,000. We find this to be reasonable because we're going to mainly be using the gear to just market, and we're not going to be selling much of our product. By year 2, however, we plan to be selling more kits and getting the name out there more. So we expect a net income of about $83,000. And by year 3, we expect to grow that number to an upwards of $300,000. To show these numbers more and how they break down, the visual on the screen shows the units sold per month each year. In year 1, we plan on selling about 24 kits. That's about 1 every 2 weeks. And then by year 2, we plan on selling about 100 kits, which is about 2 per week. And we plan on tripling that by year 3. And then note that in the beginning of any months of the year, there's a surplus in sales because those will be the off seasons for fishing. And then our ROI, we expect to have a return on our initial investment by year 3. So our ask is $125,000. This would cover our initial investment. $94,000 of that would be for our equipment, like the CNC scanner and cutting machines that would cut our plywood. And then $31,000 would be for our working capital to buy the parts needed to put the kits together that we're going to prototype. So with all being said, thank you all so much for the opportunity to present, and we'll see you out on the water.
Thank you very much. It was a great presentation. salary. So you're going to be producing 124 kits during the first 2 years. How are you using to do it? And how are you going to do that with some of
So we actually did discuss this about 2 weeks ago now, really trying to figure it out how it would work. I think the goal right now is that the first 2 years would be just marketing and building the additional amount of kits. We wouldn't really take on hiring people at that point. It would just be us working on all the kits and getting it out there. So yeah, it would be a lot of work, but the load would be on us. And then from there, because most of the machines will do the work as well, but we plan on investing in it. So there's really not a huge workload for us to do. So we wouldn't be receiving salary in the first couple of years.
Yeah, we did put in the cost, so we did put in 16 hours of labor, 15 an hour, with loading labor in there per kit sold, and that is in the cost. And I think the plan would be to bootstrap it with the founders, owners, and then the hires would be like college students, people that are working summer jobs. It's very low skill.
How many hours does it take to produce each kit?
So for ours, it was 120 hours because we were finding all the parts and figuring it out. But we figured that with the machines and all that, it would be probably 15 hours.
Well, mine kind of follows that. Being an avid shopper, I noticed this in your financials right away. You're accounting for 0 returns over 4 years. So there's always mishaps with shipping issues, things breaking, people not reading your IKEA-esque instructions and installing it correctly and trying to return. So how does that impact if you suddenly have frequent returns coming in, or what are your policies around that?
So our cost will be relatively low for each kit to show in the model. So returns here and there would not be as much of a problem because we can turn around these kits really fast. But we plan on having specific warning signs and labels in place for proper installation. If you have to properly install it, we can be liable for that. So we would accept it in that instance. If there was a defect in our build, we could replace that. We would expect it
to be. We have two questions kind of attached, and the second one is really, really short. So, as an entrepreneur myself, I'm always interested in barriers to entry. I have a lot of competition. How do we manage margin in order to, keep as much of that competition at bay? I'm wondering if you've thought about that. You have extremely high margins in your estimates, which is exceptional. What do you see are the barriers to entry? The more you put this information out there so that you can sell your product, the more interest you might stir up with other people, and that is the world of social media today. But how do you think about barriers to entry to keep competition low? And if competition does come in, you realize that you may be able to give up some margin in order to defend that region.
I can jump in a little bit on that. I want to try to do most of it here, but there will be some level of IP on this with the fact that we're scanning plan with the prototypes is to scan these holes down to the millimeter. Once that information is pulled into a CAD system, and this goes back to the labor question, a lot of the work and the labor involved is done by the machine. And it can spit out probably, probably somewhere around 5 or 6 kits per day, 50 going full fill. So someone would have to get that information themselves, and there is a cost, that's for the cost of entry.
And my second question is really good. Dan, how proud are you?
I'm very proud. College of Business graduate, 40 years later. That's great.
Good afternoon. We are the Association Team. My name is Diane Lewis. My partners, Somia Montgomery and Dwayne Lewis. And we're here today to introduce to you an idea that we believe will be the most effective way to reduce clothing waste and educate students about apparel sustainability on college campuses. Let me first give you a little background. So Satan has been actively working on a freemium model. Until someone said, the madness. So Satan can be a nonprofit and generate income. So let me introduce to you our new business model. So Satan Campus Repair Studio. Our mission, we make it convenient for everyone to repair, reuse, and reduce textile waste, keeping garments out of landfills. 2 years ago, well, we were built 2 years ago, I came to Bradley University. One of the first classes I took was sustainability in the apparel industry. And I learned that Americans throw away, like when we spring, 14 million tons of clothing waste each year. That's over $500 billion worth of clothing value. That's a problem. Statistics states, or the U.S. statistics states, that that's 3 to 6 garments per person. But you know, I knew I had over 30 years of sewing experience, and I believed that I could do something about it. And that's how Sensation was born. Why Sensation? We're looking to reduce clothing in landfills, reduce consumption, and educate individuals about the problem. How we deliver? Our solution will focus on repair, resale, and workshops. And let me give you a little insight of what we will be doing. What we do is repair, resell, and workshops, but of course, how it works on college campuses, we're going to make it convenient for students to get clothing repairs by visiting our studio. And we want to employ students as well. And we will be offering basic sewing, or students will gain basic sewing skills by attending our workshops. The value added will be less textile waste, lower clothing costs, and sustainable habits the students will gain. Our revenue model. We're looking to focus on unit sales today, franchising tomorrow. Driving unit sales will be our repairs, garment customization, meaning patches, executive patches, upcycling workshops, clothing resale, and subscriptions. Meaning that some of the students may not just want to actually pay for repairs, individually. They may want to actually get a subscription where they can get repairs all year long. And let me hand this off to Sophia, which she will give you insight on our pricing strategy and our financial projections.
This is our pricing strategy for year 1 at Bradley. So we project a net loss of 39,000 and this is intentional. We price our services 20 to 60% lower than our competitors to make repairs affordable and driven student focus. So revenue comes from repairs, patches, workshops, resale, second-hand clothing and student repair subscriptions. So the goal in year 1 is simple. We build demand and usage on campus. So now where things get exciting. So here in year 2, we expand to 4 campuses where we get net profit of 32,000 and in year 3, we expand to 10 campuses where we have net profit of 80,000 which is 150% growth driven by scaling, not by increasing prices. So while in year 1 is an investment phase, the model becomes profitable, scalable, and sustainable.
Thank you so much. So that means we will be profitable after 3 years. Yes. Let me give you insight on some of the successes from our premium model, meaning that we have traction going forward into our next phase. We have so far repaired over 900 garments. We have collected over 8,000 clothing donations, and we distributed them to local charities. Some of our information on our education and workshops, we distributed over 4,000 brochures at a couple of sustainability nights during the men's basketball games. And every day, the students who live in our dorms, they get to see our signs right in the lobby. So it will remind them not to throw away the clothing. And of course, we have our Instagram, full of pictures. But there's what's called cessation education, which will give students a little bit more insight on how to repair things that we can't do, like maybe clean their gym shoes or maybe organize their closets. And let me also say we've been aired on WTVP, consider this, that was a bonus this year. And in our community, we started an after-school program at the Franklin Primary School, teaching them basic sewing skills. That started last September. And yes, we had our first Fix It Friday right in Peoria, outside of Bradley, at the Peoria County courthouse, in which they collaborated with us, and that was a successful event. So yes, we are looking forward to going into our next phase. Who we are. My name again is Diane Lewis. I'm majoring in nutrition, minoring in as an entrepreneur and innovation. Sonia, she is a graduate student, and she's majoring in science and accounting. And of course, my partner, Dwayne Lewis, he's retired, but he has a bachelor's degree from Cornell University in Ithaca, New York, and a couple of masters in Europe. But again, we are happy to be here and introduce to you our new model. We believe it works. And let me also not forget our mentors who have been mentoring us for the past 2 years. We thank you for your guidance. And our mentor, I just want to point out Mr. Bob Zipperman, who has been our big idea mentor this year. We appreciate him and his guidance. And lastly, in closing, we want to say support the Association Campus Repair Studio. And with us working together, we know we'll make an impact on college campuses and in the communities. Thank you.
First of all, love your energy. Very nice job. I wanted to probe a little deeper on something I saw in your pricing sheet around resale. A trend that seems to be emerging on campuses across the U.S., particularly higher-end resale items. Do you have any insights? You clearly see it as an opportunity. Can you talk some about the role that plays in your business?
Well, if you don't mind, I answer that, I'll take that. To give you a little bit more insight on these and higher items. Higher price items.
Sure. So, as a dad of a college-age daughter who enjoys threads, she has found local shops in her college town that sell resale items. And all the girls seem to migrate to it because you get really good stuff at a really good price. And so I'm struck by this line item here.
Okay. All right, with resale or secondhand clothing, right now we're looking at pricing everything the same. Because this is our first year. So we're looking to maybe go to another phase after the first year, but for the first year, you know, if we're looking for a freemium model, we want to do make that a little small investment. So yeah, we plan to sell everything the same at the same cost.
When I read the business plan, we showed the large market size. Let's kind of break down that by university. What percentage of students use the service that changes their brand university, and then how often?
Thank you, that's a great question. So I have to do some statistics based on what we've done for the past 2-3 years. And it has been, okay, I can't say any percentage, but I would say at least 500 students out of everyone have visited us and gotten something repaired. And more than that, with the 8,000 COVID donations, I mean, that's everybody almost, because we make sure that nothing gets thrown in the trash. But just when we go to the next phase, you know, students already done accustomed to us. And we like what we do, we've got clear confidence, so I don't see that as a problem.
So, right now, everything's been free, correct?
Yes.
So have you done any research, even in the Bradley market, to find out if students are willing to pay versus just running over to Walmart and getting something?
What we participated in was the Innovation Expo, and we did take a survey. And only about 10 people actually took the survey, but out of those, they gave us their insight on what they thought the prices should be, anywhere from $10 to $15. I guess my only limitation is that I should have put under, actually that a student or that's the pricing that they checked off. That was the average pricing. So again, I don't think it'd be a problem because we really reduced our pricing, to like $5 versus the average repair cost could be anywhere from like 15 or more.
This is different than the pricing that was on the original proposal.
Oh, yeah, that's why we gave you a green now. You have that.
So let me ask you, if the student comes in to have something repaired, do they have the opportunity to assist in the repair, or is it strictly you all?
That's the great question. Well, the past year, what we instituted is we multiple repairs. So we tell everyone on all of the marketing that they can learn right on the spot. So we've got some training right at our district projects. Yes, every day training right through
you hear me? Okay. Are you ready?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Hello everyone, my name is Pedro. I am a data science and business student at ESPM, and this is my partner Julian, who is a communication and advertising student at ESPM. And by the way, she's also my sister. Today we are here from Brazil to present to you urban analytics. But first, let me tell you how this idea began. My sister and I, we take the bus every day after college, and the ride itself, it takes around 20 minutes to get home. However, there were many times that we had to wait for 40 minutes to an hour just for the bus to arrive. And this kept happening again and again. So after a while, we started noticing something. Some buses were passing almost empty, while at our stop, the line just kept growing. That's when we realized that the problem was not the number of buses, but the lack of intelligence in the system. Because today, control centers know where the buses are, but they don't know where the people are. In other words, they track supply, but they don't understand real time demand. So here is an image that shows how our bus terminal looks like when we come back from college. However, this is not just our experience. According to Statista, around 5 billion people rely on public transportation, and 76% of them are dissatisfied with the transportation systems. This happens mainly because of three problems: unreliability, overcrowding, and long waiting times. So, considering all this, we asked ourselves, what if the system could understand real time demand? And that is why we created Urban Analytics. And now my sister will explain how we work.
Hi, everybody. I'm Julia, and it's a pleasure to be here with all of you. And now I will explain how urban analytics work. So we are based in three core components. The first is the bus stop sensors that tracks how many people are waiting on the lines, showing us the real-time passenger demand. The second is the bus sensors that are placed inside the buses in the front and in the back door, and they serve to give us the real-time flow and the occupancy of the bus. And finally, our third component is the Urban Analytics Platform. Here is where everything comes together. We combine the supply and demand data of the sensors and turns into real-time insights. And now Pedro will show our MVP.
The MVP was made to show how the operators will interact with our platform to make better decisions. So here we have the main dashboard. I know it seems a little overwhelming, but it's really simple. It has a variety of information about the current transportation situation. So you have information like the number of buses that are being monitored, the number of stops that are being monitored, how many passengers are inside the buses, and how many people are waiting at the stops. Also, we have the fleet monitoring tab. Here, you will have information like the number of the bus and the route that it goes, the exact number of passengers of the bus and the total capacity, and also the status. So if it's under use, it's normal, or it's crowded. Finally, we have the bus stop monitoring tab. Here, you will have information like the name and the place of the bus stop, how many people are waiting in line for the buses, and what is the average demand of that bus stop. Also, we will have the trend of the demand. So if more people are coming, the trend will be rising. If people are leaving, the trend will be falling. Considering this, we decided to pitch our idea with the MVP to Fernando Petit, who is a city councilor of São José dos Campos, a city that has 700,000 people. And he said that a platform like this will be very useful to support the government and will be very welcome in municipalities such as São José dos Campos.
And now let's move on to our customers. So we focus on three main groups. The first is the governments that with our system, they can improve public spending, optimize transportation planning, and increase the quality of life of the population. Our second customer is the transportation companies. And here we're talking about the B2B sector. And for them, they can reduce their operational costs because they will be able to manage their fleet more efficiently, including less fuel consumption and route optimization. And as our platform grows, our third customer segment will be marketing teams. Our precise data can help them to know the best hours and places to launch their campaigns. And we can see that in these advertising screens at our terminal.
Now, let's take a look at our market. For the initial focus of urban analytics is Brazil, more specifically the city of São Paulo, where we live in. The city of São Paulo has 7 million users of public transportation, and because of that, for the year of 2026, the São Paulo City Council decided an investment of $2 billion in urban transportation. This is also because of the total fleet of 12,000 buses and 5,200 major bus stops. We hope to achieve by the final of the three first years a total of 15% of the total fleet. So here you can see our sales projection of buses and bus stops. And as you can see, in year three, we will have a total of 1,872 buses and 780 bus stops being monitored by our system. And based on this market and on the average price of other systems that are already in place in transportation situations, like the GPS, here we will charge $120 per bus per month and $56 per bus stop per month. This means that our model is a subscription model. So because of that, it is scalable. So the client can choose how many buses and bus stops they want to monitor based on their needs. Finally, we have our 3-year break-even analysis. As you can see, in the first year, we have the major costs. That is because in the first year, we will have to develop the urban analytics platform. But in year two, because we will already have a more mature number of buses and bus stops generating revenue monthly, our total revenue is already higher than our costs. But still, we haven't reached that initial cost of development. Gladly, by the year three, we will reach break-even with a total cumulative cash flow of $300,000, a total revenue of that year of around $2.8 million, and our total costs being $2 million. This shows that urban analytics can grow and become sustainable for the next years.
And now let's take a look at the competitors. So today in Brazil, there are solutions in the market, but they are isolated solutions. So for example, Movit, it's an app that focuses on predicting the bus's arrival times for the users. So yes, they can track buses in real time, but they don't actually do something with that because they don't change fleet decisions or improve the systems. And another competitor is the Dahua technology. That is a platform that uses sensors inside the buses to count passengers, but they do that with a purpose to generate the security of the bus and not in making operational decisions. And considering all of this is why urban analytics is different because we can connect everything. So we know how many people are waiting, how many are inside the buses, and we turn this into efficiency. And how do we reach our customers? So we want to participate in key events like the São Paulo Innovation Week because they announced that they are focused on helping new businesses to grow. And as a new company like us, it's a great opportunity to accelerate our market entry and to connect with potential clients. But we will also be on LinkedIn and Google Ads. On LinkedIn, we'll share content about urban mobility and real cases. And with Google Ads, we will use the right keywords to attract the right audience, generating qualified leads instead of just mass visibility.
Finally, we would like to thank our mentors that helped with the Big Idea competition. So Marcela helped us for all the different stages of the Big Idea competition. Professor Marielza is the person that is representing the Big Idea competition here at our college and helped us with all of the project. And finally, Professor Igor, who is our finance professor that helped with the financial planning of urban analytics. We would also like to thank the Big Idea competition for giving us this opportunity. And this is urban analytics, turning data into efficiency. Thank you very much.
Thank you, and a very nice job to you both. Can you explain how much it costs to equip a bus with necessary equipment and sensors?
Yes, I can explain. So for the sensors, we will have a partnership with another company that is MileSite. And so we will have the cost of buying that sensors. That will be the initial setup of the operation. And these sensors will be installed on the buses. And based on Brazil, the average pricing for a technician to install the buses is around it's around $100. Sorry, I was speaking in reais.
And also, the difference of price in the bus stops and in the bus is because in the bus we'll have two sensors, and in the bus stop will be only one.
So your model really relies on the sensors and what it's able to produce. I'm assuming that you're going to be doing it in real time, and you're stating in your study that you're going to be using the MileSight VS133 sensor. That, from the information I was able to determine, had about a 2-mile maximum transmission, and then only if it's line of sight to get over about a mile and a half. But the city you're working in is what, like 30 miles by 30, 40 miles long or wide? How do you overcome that?
So because São Paulo is a very busy city, is a very crowded city, uh, there are bus stops almost like every a couple of miles, tipo, less than miles. So when you enter a bus, especially us in Santana, we like in 15 minutes we stop around like 6 or 7 bus stops. So there is a bus stop almost everywhere and almost every time. So although the sensor can see a reduced space, because of that, there is a variety of bus stops. There will have a lot of sensors a lot of sensors in the city, compensating for the fact that the sensor cannot see like a large area.
I guess I'm not clear. So the sensor sends out the information. Is it going to go to one central location or many locations to gather data?
For example, São Paulo, Santana Terminal has a control center that monitors the whole operation, and they have the data of all the buses and that are in that in Santana because of the GPS. So we will copy that model because the sensors will all send the information to a central system, and this central system will have the urban analytics platform. So the urban analytics platform will receive all the data in one place and then generate the analytics and the information that will be used for the operators to make better decisions.
I'm a little confused, maybe you can help me out. So you talk about screens and selling information based on how many people are on the bus. What type of view do you have into, how are you specifying, are the screens part of what you own versus somebody else? And then is there liability on your behalf? Like, are you breaking any sort of privacy laws in how you're scanning people or that process?
Okay. Uh,
You can
so
start.
okay. So in São Paulo, we have a law named LGPD. That is a law of protection of user data. So because of that, we cannot like with the sensor show the person or show exactly what type of person it is. We cannot show the demographic, but we can count people in São Paulo because this type of sensors already exists in a variety of places, like our college. We have the idea of using the sensors because I'm making a project for the college that uses sensors here in your college, like the stairs, in the parking lot, and it is counting people, but it is counting only the number. They cannot show the student face or they cannot show the people. So we also won't be able to show the exact type of person that is inside the bus or the bus stop, but we will have the exact number of people that are coming and going from the bus stop and coming and going from the buses. And this is an important information because today, marketing teams that are looking for advertised products here on Brazil specifically, more specifically in São Paulo, they don't have a total number. So we did a research of a person that is working on the transport and private transport companies, and he said that like for advertising is an estimate. So it's like 5,000 people to 15,000 people pass on this location. We will have this that precise data for these people, and we won't breach any laws of user data or personal
Protection.
information.
Guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We are now taking a break. We are going with the judges to the deliberation room. Dr. Conway from here.
Huge round of applause to Jenny Lamb. I will say, Jenny, just in case this happens, you know where it came from. I leaned over to Provost Dan Boone over there in the corner and I said, I don't know what you're paying her, but give her more. Because Jenny keeps all this running really smoothly and with a beautiful smile on her face. So thank you very much, Jenny, always. All right, so I know you guys are wanting some cookies or some water or some coffee, so just bear with us a little bit while the judges are down there. We have some really important things that we want to talk to you about. But sorry, Kathy, you gotta go judge. You got a job to do. Okay, so we're gonna start off. I just wanted to spend a minute, literally 30 seconds, reminding you that these students who have stood on the stage today didn't just appear today. Right, they've been working a really long time, and the filter for them to get here is very serious. We started out with 28 submissions, and you got down to 5 teams. From the Brazil side, we limited them to 5 teams. They actually had 7 teams enter. Through that, 5 were selected, and 3 made it to the innovation, and 1 then to the finals. So this is, again, a really long journey. Students made a big commitment. So I want to, again, applaud our competitors this year. Also, we have some competitors from last year who are here as well. So let's give them all a round of applause. It's also a moment for us to celebrate our student workers. So I'm going to ask our current student workers to stand up. We've got Emma Smith, Jennifer Lennon, and Kelly Camillo had to step out for a moment, but if you signed in at the door, you saw her there. So thank you. I cannot say enough that we would not be able to do what we do without them. And I see one of our former student workers here as well. Thank you for joining us, right? It's a continual thing. So I want to appreciate you. These guys, I see them on the stage. We're just going to hang 1 second to introduce them in a moment. So just give me a little patience there. Thank you, Jennifer. So let me turn it over to Dr. Peacher, and she's going to talk to you a little bit about the innovation ambassadors, and then we have some more things to celebrate tonight.
So good afternoon, everyone, or good evening, it's about the time. I am Janine Peacher, and I serve as the Associate Director here in the Turner School, and I had the awesome pleasure of hiring 4 phenomenal innovation ambassadors who did a lot of hard work, and I'm going to let them kind of toot their own horn. We are missing one who had to rush off. She's a mechanical engineer. She had to rush off and take a test, so we're going to let her be a student. But Kiara Jackson had a phenomenal opportunity working with Professor Sandoval and Dr. McQuaid. Are they here? No, I know they were here earlier. we invite you to go over there and look at the hard work of our students and how, when they interview. And also, I want you to know that the design of each one of our posters is done by none other than the ambassador, Kelsey. I'm going to turn it over to Lee Jackson.
Okay. Hi, my name is Andrew Jackson. I'm a sophomore mechanical engineering major, student ambassador. I had chosen two professors, Professor David Day and Dr. Travis Stern. If you guys could please stand. And the reason I choose these professors is because of the innovative methods they used in and outside of the classroom, how they continue to keep students engaged in the classroom and outside the classroom, using different methods to help us learn better and better grasp the material. Thank you. Invite you guys to see the poster.
Hi, my name is Shania Shepherd. I'm a junior criminology and psychology double major. I chose to spotlight Mrs. Jocelyn Watkins, who is our Title IX coordinator here at Bradley. And I also chose to spotlight Detective Rosa Rushing, who is a new detective over at the Bradley University Police Department. I chose them because of their innovation in getting students to advocate for themselves, making campus a more inclusive environment, equitable, and just giving students the voice to voice their concerns, things like that.
Hi, I'm Kelsey Hudson. I'm a junior here at Bradley studying criminology, psychology, and communications. I chose to highlight Ryan Baer and Dr. Joshua Dickhouse. I have been able to work personally with both of those individuals. I'd love to see how Joshua Dickhouse has made the Steiner Symposium. I don't know if any of you have attended that, but he's in charge of that, and he does a great job with that, giving students an opportunity to work with experts in that field. And then also Ryan Baer, he has done a lot on Bradley's campus as far as like student conduct, and I have worked with him personally with the Student Safety Advisory Committee, where he puts everything in place to make sure Bradley is a safe campus, as we are a unique university in comparison to other campuses. So yes, go and see our posters, guys. You guys really have
Thank you very much. We're super excited to have the opportunity to highlight, to highlight what our amazing professors and staff are doing. So, but we have a few more things to celebrate before we let you go. One is to congratulate our graduating majors and minors. So for those of you who don't know, the Turner School is a very unique major system, which is called a degree completion and interdisciplinary innovation. It's an opportunity for students who have had different pathways in their college to find a home and a proud place to become a Bradley alum. So we don't have tons of majors because we find them very late in their journey. And this year we have 4 majors whose names you can see there. Sharon and Elijah are actually off campus in Chicago already working. Jeremy Haynes, who's here on campus, and Peyton Nelson, who is a baseball player who came to us just last year. Our minors, so the minors are more traditional academic pursuits: Alyssa, Jihad, Jacob, Anissa, Anaya, and Ali Reed. Excuse me, that's supposed to be a D in Ali Reed's name. They joined us for 3 different classes, and we just want to celebrate them. Are any of you all in the room? I actually don't see your faces because I know all of you, but just let's give them a round of applause for that. The other thing that we do at Bradley in general is we have a couple opportunities for students to be special scholars, to gain different experiences by combining curricular and co-curricular activities. And so the Turner School has an entrepreneurial scholars program. The students are required to take 2 of our courses, our 2 core courses, one in mindsets of entrepreneurship and innovation, and one in the innovation journey. And then do up to, it's a point system, but 20 points worth of competitions like this, attending competitions, contributing to Bradley through an innovative opportunity. And this year we have 2 graduates, Al Cruzone, who's also the outgoing student body president, and Ryan Dodd. Ryan is here. Ryan is also a competitor last year, and maybe if you're following us on social media, and if you're not, please get started. Ryan also did a video for us to promote the big ideas. So please join me in saying hello to Ryan and congratulations. Thank you, Ryan. I also want to draw attention to this side of the room. We have an inaugural program this year, and we'll actually start working in the fall, which is called our Faculty Innovation Fellows. So faculty from around campus applied to become an innovative fellow. And what we'll be doing over the next academic year is working together for them to understand and think about what are ways that they can add innovation into their classroom, into their research, and to connect across disciplines. So I do admit that I totally stole Kelsey's design. Where'd you go, Kelsey? Right over here. So you might just notice a few differences that I put in there. And we have two of our faculty fellows in the room. So Dr. Kyle Metzger is here from the College of Fine Arts. He's a professor of art history, also started our museum studies minor. And also over here, Rajesh Goldasu. Okay, sorry, I have a Spanish accent. The Professor Rajesh is actually his first year at Bradley, so we're really excited that he's jumping right in. He comes to us from the Foster College of Business and the Management and Information Systems. So please join me in thanking them for taking this opportunity. And I'm sure next year when we see you again, we'll be talking about some other activities. All right, and the last thing I want to talk about, and I mentioned before, we have so many of our alums here as mentors, so many of our alums here as judges and things like that. We also have an alum, Kenneth and Leslie Bear, who contributed to a fund that allows us to recognize outstanding entrepreneurial students. So with everything of Turner, regardless of your major, everyone is open for this award. What the requirement is that you take at least one course with us, any course that you do, and that you contribute, participate in a competition. Any one of our competitions, so the Ideas for Good essay, the Brave Pitch, or here in the Big Idea, and that you exhibit leadership through your entrepreneurial thought process. And this year, I'm happy to say, well, actually, let me recognize, some of you might see our winning team. We mentioned Dormley came in second, and also Nabil is here, who's from our winning team last year, the Hunter System, and he is also a winner of the Kenneth and Leslie Bear Award from last year. And so this year, I'm really happy to say that we have two award winners. One of them is here in the room, and so I would like to have him come up on the stage and join us as the 2026 Kenneth and Leslie Bear Award, Ryan Dunn. Because they don't know that that's going to happen. So let's see if we'll have a photograph. Sorry, I'm done. Okay, let's see. No. All right, again, congratulations to Ryan. Our other winner is not here this evening. As I mentioned, he is an athlete, but I'm going to point out Peyton Nelson. Peyton is one of our graduates from the Turner School, and he's the first graduate to win this award. So he's a graduating senior from the Turner School, and he competed in both the Ideas for Good essay and in the Big Ideas, made it to the Innovation Expo, but he is out playing today. He doesn't actually know that he won, so maybe he's watching us online and he just found out. If not, if anyone knows Peyton, be sure to text him so that we can see that. All right, so there's Ryan and Peyton. And what we want to just do then is take the rest of the time to invite you to go and visit the posters, have some snacks, restrooms, women's on this side, men, you'll figure it out. And just be ready to come back as soon as the judges come in, and we'll have a presentation of our winners. Thank you very much.
How are you? I'm really glad you're here. That was really a fun thing to be able to go to. I appreciate it. Look forward to, look forward to running into.
Let's go ahead and start. Well, finish. Please take your seats for the announcement.
Close.
So it's been an incredible year. Really great teams, very competitive. I think it's the first time that I can say all the 5 finalists accepted our suggestions. We take good advantage of the rehearsal and the mentorship. So congratulations, you did a great job, a fantastic job. I just heard compliments from the judges. So great work. We have this time, we are announcing, before we announce the 3 finalists, we want to give a special award to the best table. So that's the Public Choice Award. If you came to the Innovation Expo, you saw all the 20 tables being exposed there. There was 2 of them, so all the public that came be voted for the best table in their opinion. So that's a recognition of those teams that performed better in an Innovation Expo and did not move to the finals. So we want to recognize these teams, and this year we have for the first time a tie.
Before you announce that, I'm going to ask Provost Dan Moon to come up and Carolyn and Bob Turner to come up to join us in recognizing all of our winners.
Okay, so the Public Choice Award goes to Nani Vivonchi and Flash Frames. Please come over, guys. Nani Vivonchi, okay. flash frames. Flash frames now. All right, thank you very much. Congratulations. Now, third place. There, okay, so third place, the teams are there. So you go this way, okay? And the third place, according to the judges, will go to Backwater Customs. Well, thank you, guys. Now, second place goes to Illubeasts. Congratulations. And now, first place, and before then, after the announcement, please don't go away, please stay, talk to the students, take pictures, okay, so that's the moment of celebration, just don't go away, okay? So first place, after the deliberation of the judges, here it goes. Tuesday.
Members that couldn't be here. Yes, thank you. All right, you guys are good. If you'll stay for one more second, Provost. We'd also like to invite the finalist teams to come up for a photo. So first we'll have Association. Please welcome Association, come on up. There may not be a check involved, but there's a whole lot of work. Yes. Association, would you like your mentor, Bob, Superman to join in this photo? Sure, come on, Bob. That's how I lose popularity every time. Diane? Dwayne? All right, there's Bob over there. Okay, I'm getting over here. Pretend you like each other. There you go. Congratulations. And no picture for our other finalists because they're in Brazil, but we're waving to them right from here. Congratulations. Thank you very much. Thank you. Did you want to have any closing words, Provost or Turners? Any closing words? Good. Okay. All right. So what are we doing now? Woo! Big ceremony, big celebration, lots of interviews. So winners, we welcome you to take photos with the checks over there. We do not welcome you to take them home. We'll take those back, right? And please feel free to take a few moments to view the spotlight again, to meet our faculty innovation fellows and just network for a moment. But you're free to go as you will. Thank you again for everyone who joined us via our live stream. Congratulations, everyone.